Colline qui veille sur nos mémoires. Dans le souffle des rivières, on entend nos histoires. Rwanda, Congo, Burundi et l'Ouganda. Tanzanie, Kenya, 6 voix, une seule voix. On a pleuré les ombres, on a porté les chaînes, mais nos voix se relèvent, plus fortes que la peine. Debout, debout, peuple des grands lacs, que nos chants résonnent, que nos pas se redressent. Pour la justice, pour la paix, pour nos terres qu'on protège. Debout ensemble, unis dans la promesse. Oh, les montagnes murmurent les noms qu'on n'oublie pas. Les enfants rêvent d'un monde où la peur n'existe pas. De Kigali à Kampala, de Bujumbura à Goma, de Dar es Salaam à Nairobi, nos voix se lèvent à l'unisson là-bas. On marche pour nos droits, on marche pour nos frères, pour nos sœurs qui se relèvent pour un avenir meilleur. Dans les larmes du passé, nos mémoires se relèvent. Génocide des Tutsis, génocide des Hutus, que nul jamais ne soulève. Les cicatrices sont profondes, mais nos cœurs disent encore qu'aucune vie ne soit brisée pour le pouvoir ou l'or. Nos terres ont trop souffert du pillage des ressources. Que justice soit lumière et que l'histoire change de course. Pas de haine dans nos mains, seulement la vérité. Pas d'armes dans nos cœurs, seulement la liberté. Nos voix sont nos flambeaux, nos rêves sont nos routes. Et le monde écoutera un jour sans aucun doute. Debout, debout, peuple des grands lacs, que nos chants résonnent, que nos pas se redressent. Pour la justice, pour la paix, pour nos terres qu'on protège. Debout ensemble, unis dans la promesse. Debout, debout, peuple des grands lacs. Notre force est un fleuve, rien ne l'arrêtera. Congo, Burundi, Uganda.
Good afternoon and welcome to this edition, this special edition of our program Gahunda Shaste channel. This afternoon, I am honored to host Dr. Prosper BAMARA, who is a chemist by training. He's an author of the book Nyiri Binyoma Kungoma Egafun, and he has tried to translate it in English. The Epic of Nyiri Binyoma, the Master Liar, or the Master Liar and his little school crushing hole. This is very interesting and intriguing title, and allow me to welcome Dr. BAMARA to my channel. Welcome, Dr. Prosper BAMARA.
Thank you very much, Shaste Gahunda, and thank you for inviting me to this channel. My greetings to those who are following this conversation, this mission, and those who will follow it later in the future. Thank you.
My pleasure. It's my pleasure to have you here. And today I'm interested in having your version in English, because indeed the book you've authored is in Kinyarwanda, and it is a different genre. Is a genre littéraire, as we say in French, is a different genre, and people who read it in Kinyarwanda find it kind of challenging to understand exactly what you say, because yes, the facts are within it. However, you present the facts using another art. Can you explain why? And before you go to that, I will ask you to introduce yourself to our telespectators and our friends.
Thank you for asking me to introduce myself to your audience. I'm Dr. Prosper BAMARA, industrial chemist and bioscientist. I'm a specialist of the cell sciences. Have competences in the quality management, project management, and criminalistics and DNA fingerprinting. I'm originating from Visesero, Kibuye, as well as of you. I know you are from Kibuye as well.
Yes.
So I did my secondary studies at the minor seminary of St. Kizito in Zaza. Yeah, I worked in Rwanda in different sectors, in research and lecturing at the Rwanda university systems. Then I worked in the infrastructure sector. I'm a former director of the energy regulation. My department was in charge of gas extraction and processing, natural gas of Lake Kivu, other types of gases present or potentially present in Rwanda, and other types of energies, such as the renewable energy types. Regarding my family's identity, I'm of the family of Abakwavu, of the sub-clan of Abanyabinshi, belonging to the clan of Abanyiginya. We are descendants of King Yuhi II Gahima, son of Mibambwe Sekarongoro Mutabazi. When I finished my secondary school, when I left the minor seminary, I joined the National University under the government scholarship. And that was in 1991. Then I left the National University to join the rebel movement of the RPF in the struggle, where I served in different units. At the capture of Kigali, the capital city, I mean, when we seized power, I was deployed at the army headquarters in a department known as the G2 at that time. I worked within one of its secretariats, the one which was in charge of analysis of incoming correspondences and the registration of outgoing correspondences. Later, I was positioned as chief register officer of that department, and I was sent back to university to complete my studies, and eventually I was mobilized in the 5th phase of mass demobilization, which took place in Duha, east of Kigali. Well, later I became a refugee. I'm now a refugee. I may even say a stateless refugee. It's important to mention this because the world and Rwandans must know that there are indeed Rwandans who have become stateless. It's a situation I share with many thousands, maybe tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of Rwandans. It's sad, and it's a situation that must be brought to the attention of the whole world, and which needs to have a solution, a durable solution for all. No one child, young or adult should be stateless in this world. In this era where we have the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. Then I'm a writer and a poet. My recent book entitled The Epic of Nyibinyoma, or The Master Liar and His Little Skull Crushing Hole, was published in May 1st, 2026. It's a book, a piece of literature, a piece of art, which is written in the form of a novel poem. It's structured in 5 parts. It is an allegory. It tells the story of a fictional empire known as Bufunzarati, which uses terror and lies to maintain control, where executioners use death by agafuni, small hoe used to kill human beings by crushing their skulls, and poison to acquire livestock, land, and mineral wealth, where people's tears become rivers and oceans. The great emperor is Nyiribinyoma, a master liar, whose violent rise and fall are historically depicted. The empire's emblem is the drum baringa, which signifies an illusion. Baringa has three smaller drums, Chimu Mugayo, which takes the throne and symbolizes shame, Karihanika, embodying the spirit of arrogance, and Rwapfa, which depicts a country stricken by death. The Baringa drum doesn't have the usual mallets. Its sticks are agafuni, or udufuni, the little skull-crushing hoe. Yes, this is the summary of the book, and I may mention the circumstances that led to my starting to write this book. What happened initially? I listened to Rwandans talking, to Congolese women crying. So those rumors, those gossips from Rwandans at church, at soccer matches, stadiums, at schools, prisons, everywhere, refugee camps, were telling different stories about the current Rwandan regime and president. Some told that Rwanda has become paradise. And we hear some leaders, even ministers, who say, this is paradise. We have God here. Stop praying God. Stop praising God. We have our God. It's our president. And they say the president of Rwanda is actually God, the actual God to worship. Others would say that Rwanda has become hell, worse than hell. And they even say the ruler, the current president, is worse than Satan. Some would say even that if we would go to hell for a visit, for a tour, Satan himself would go down, get down, descend from his throne, and salute him, because we would have seen bigger, more important than him. Others even said that Satan has actually applied, written an application letter for training in Rwanda, to hone his performance in evildoing there in the current Rwanda. So for me, all those stories sounded weird. They were so polarized, not to go moving in the same direction, not giving a same image of that king. That's why I said I can't write a non-fiction story of this. I have to write a fictional story where those two realities could coexist in one book. But even in the fiction world, that seemed impossible. I thought of writing either one book in 2 volumes or 2 books. Then I imagined a monarch who would send his subjects, known as Nhore, saying, Nhore zanje, my dear subjects, go out there and bring me your report. Come tell me what people out think I am. So they were split into 2 groups. Some went to counties where they said the king is actually God and Rwanda is paradise. I mean, Zaratsi. This kingdom is Zaratsi. This is the name I gave it to it. Others reached counties and regions where they said he's worse than Satan. Where that country, this kingdom is hell. This is the report that was completed first and fast, and they came to the king and delivered their reports, saying, Lord, listen, people out there say you are the master liar and you crush skulls with a small rusty hole. And this is the book we have now. I told you I'm a former Roman Catholic seminarian. In my dreams, I had one verse of the Bible, John 8:44, and I used that John 8:44 as the title. That's where I got the title of my book from, John 8:44. And when I started writing, putting down the first verses of this novel poem, I had in mind two historic names started populating my thoughts and my memory. These are two names known in history. One is the Turco-Mongol conqueror, known of the name of Tamerlane. Tamerlane is the man who defeated the Ottomans in Ankara. He deserved the nickname of the Prince of Destruction, and he's known for his pyramids of skulls. The second name is that of Tarquinius Superbus, Tarquin the Proud, the last king of Rome, just before the Republic. This man is a horrible king. He was known for his intrigues, treason, all evil doings of all sorts. Eventually, at the end, he was brought down by a rebellion that was born from his ranks, and he was forced to exile. So, taking these two characters, combining them or merging them or combining them, you obtain the one character of the hero of this novel poem, the master liar and his little skull-crushing hoe, Nyiribinyuma.
In your introduction,
okay.
In your introduction, you've just mentioned the Holy Bible in chapter 8, in John chapter 8, 44. I would like to share with our followers what is written in John 8:44. It says, you are of your father the devil, and the desires of your father you want to do. He was a murderer from the beginning and does not stand in the truth, because there is no truth in him. When he speaks a lie, he speaks from his own resources, for he is a liar and the father of it. For he is a liar and the father of it. So you mean actually that master is a liar, and the lie is within him. So it's a mixture of a nature.
Yeah. He's a liar and a killer.
And the killer.
Of all types.
Yeah, thank you.
And if you have seen I tried to draw the royal drum.
Yeah.
The sacred drum of the kingdom of Wofun in Zarati. You see, it's a drum, not beaten by normal sticks. Its mallets are actually agafoni or udofoni, the small little skull-crushing holes. When the drum is struck with these small skull-crushing holes, it doesn't produce a huge sound. Actually, it causes blood to fountain from the upper membrane of the drum. When that blood fountains, it spills over down until it spreads, it pulls at the base on the ground. That means that blood symbolizes the tears of the population. which have become rivers and oceans. Yes, and often that means what? The name of this kingdom, of this empire. Buffoon symbolizes any instrument that can be used to kill human being. A hammer, a cudgel, what people call hamongano manzi, those wood stick with big head studded with nails, a firearm, a bomb, anything that can be used to kill. Nzaratsi symbolizes poison. What in the current jargon, in the modern jargon in Rwanda, they call utuzi twamuza. This is Nzaratsi. So often Nzaratsi means an empire, a kingdom where people are constantly killed with a little skull-crushing foe and poison, utuzi twamuza, to use the jargon, the language of the modern Rwandans. I hope I summarized a little bit.
Yes, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Actually, following your explanations, one seems like looking at a horror movie. It's scared. It's scared. You see blood. You see lies, especially because actually people are afraid of lie, because lie is a very, very, very bad thing. Let me go into your biography. We will get a time to discuss the content of the book as an epic itself. But let's go to the reality, your background and your career. You are a seminarian, you finish your studies at seminary. Didn't you have idea to become a priest?
Yes, for sure.
Yeah. And what happened?
Yeah.
You met a beautiful girl and you decided to leave?
Yeah, yes, until my last year of the seminary, then my attraction to science became stronger.
Yes.
Yes, than my ambitions to become a priest. Then
Yes,
I went to the university of science.
You went to university, and here we have to underline something very important, because when you see people talking about Rwanda, talking about our history, there is this narrative that says that Tutsi did not go to school. They were not allowed to go to school. They were not able to perform economically in whatever sector of Rwanda. How did you manage to go to the university despite the fact you are a Tutsi?
Here we have a propaganda narrative against the reality, the historical reality. It's true, the current leadership tends to tell that even the RPF, since its inception, its beginning, it had managed to convince the world to sell a story, a wrong story, of course, to foreign states, industrialized countries, the world superpowers, and to international rights organizations that Tutsi, the Second Republic, was so bad that Tutsis were not allowed to be successful in businesses. They could not attend schools to certain levels. They could not reach secondary school, university also. And segregation was so rampant, so bad that Tutsis were maintained under the bar of an acceptable level of human rights. They were mistreated, and treated as secondary citizens or non-human beings, which was wrong. The reality, problems exist in Rwanda, but these problems were not specific to Tutsi. Governance flaws were seen. They were noticed by everyone. But they affected both Hutus and Tutsi, not Tutsis alone. Tutsis attended school and Hutus attended school. Yes, not all Tutsis could reach university, but not all Hutus reached university too. We had a very small university, which had a maximum of less than 2,000 students. And you couldn't have everyone enrolled in that small university. So this is to say that I got a scholarship as just any Rwandan who, any Hutu, any Tutsis. There were many Hutus, I was not alone.
Yes.
And relative to the proportion, the population proportion Tutsi Hutu, I cannot say that the Hutus were few. No, Hutus were about 85% of the population, even more. And the problem was not that Tutsis didn't go to school. The problem was that schools were not sufficient. Places in schools were few. Places at university were very few. And the government tried to share, to distribute the few places among the population using a certain policy called ethnic and regional equilibrium. It was the means they chose. Was it good? Was it not good? That is debatable. But it's a way they had decided to manage that situation. For me, the best way would have been to make sure there is enough places in schools and universities so that everyone can be served. But that was not the case.
Yeah,
That deplorable situation, regrettable situation, unfortunately affected both Tutsis and Hutus. But RPF used that to show to the world that only Tutsis were affected.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Indeed, that was a failure from the government side. Instead of looking at how to improve capacities in the education system, they tried to share what was in place. Instead of expanding the capacity that will contain everybody, they tried in their way. Maybe in that time they thought it was a better solution. But okay, anyway, let's go to a very big issue to understand when you are not Rwandan. When for a non-Rwandan, understanding what happened actually. You as somebody who was at university, you left university to join the RPF ranks in the forest, in the bush, and you trained military and you fought the war, and then you became a conqueror. Actually, when the RPF took power in Kigali, you were with them and you worked with the government as a officer until 2002 when you left Rwanda. How did you leave that career actually from university to the bush? Because it is a transformation, isn't it? It's a big transformation.
Yeah.
From a university life, you go to the bush and you go through training and all the hectic moments you passed through. Help us to understand your journey until you were dismissed not dismissed, but until you left the army.
Just to correct a bit, I didn't become a conqueror. The conqueror is the chief commander of the system. And a conqueror is a criminal by understanding, by definition.
Yes.
Because he kills, steals, loots, whatever. Well, as I said, there was a propaganda.
Yes.
Refined, developed, and sold to the international community that Tutsis were not treated as human beings. They could not attend school or be successful in business. When we reached the struggle, those young recruits, those young Tutsi recruits who arrived and who were at schools were just killed by a Gafuni, by this small-scale crossing. Whenever they said they were at school, they would kill. Whenever a young recruit would, would say, my father was Director General, we had them, was killed. Whenever they said my father was a businessman, a rich businessman, killed. A teacher, a professor, a head of unit, a successful taxi man, taxi driver, taxi owner, whatever, he had a bar or a hotel, that was enough to be killed. Why? They were killed because their family stories did not validate the propaganda. And this propaganda was the reason why the system was supported from all over the world.
Yeah. The propaganda goes like in Rwanda, Tutsi have no life. They have no rights. So to bring somebody who had a better life even than them, than those who were attacking the country,
of course,
it was contrary to the cause. Yes.
RPF has been smart enough to sell to the world that story, that not to see. Well, now that story was believed, so much believed that the world actually supported that movement against the government. True, problems exist, but those problems affected Hutus and Tutsis. So the children, those young people were killed because some people talk about jealousy and hatred. Yes, I don't disagree. But for me, that hatred was not unjust, was not justified, and that jealousy could not be justified. But it was a case, I would give it a very small percentage. The major reason why young Tutsi young recruits for which the RPF struggle were killed systematically is because their family stories or their own stories contradicted the propaganda sold to the world successfully.
That's true.
This is deplorable. The Hutus who joined, the few Hutus who came, there were few, but they were Hutus. The few who came were just killed. Yeah.
So this
except a few instances, a few cases where by sheer luck or chance, one Hutu will pass through the filters. Tight filters and survive, and that will be considered as a rare event. Okay.
That's horrible. Okay, then you start the training, and how long did it last, the training?
It depends on the intensity of the war.
Yeah,
it would last like 2 months, 3 months, but in intense moments of war, it would only last 5 weeks, 3 weeks, sometimes even 2 weeks.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So tell us about this infiltrators, or as we call technicians. Actually, I don't know if in English it would be understandable, but we know this term of technicien, or those trained military, actually, whose role was to infiltrate the government side, and maybe for spying and bringing back the information, just to prepare the attacks, or just to get involved in local populations, to try to get enough information needed.
Yeah, before answering this question, I have to remind people that my book is actually a fiction.
Yes.
Not a history book, not a non-fiction. It's a novel poem.
Yeah.
And it was written, it's a piece of art. It was written in such a way that a Chinese would think of maybe Mao Zedong, a Russian, Stalin, German, Jew, Hitler, Ugandan, Idi Amin, an Italian, Mussolini, and so forth. So coming out of that fiction, maybe talking, giving opinions or sharing what you have heard about the real history. You talked about Russian technicians who killed Tutsis during the genocide. Yeah, true. Many people say it. For me, many RPF people, many researchers, reporters, investigators. Yes, in one forum that took place in Washington, D.C. recently, in May, 2026. I was invited to talk, and it was called NCDR. Then I explained what the identity of the killers of Tutsi during the genocide was, because this identity is rarely mentioned or clarified. The killers of Tutsis, the genocide, the executioners of Tutsi during the genocide, were this group of killers. They were made of six groups, and a seventh group which was not identified. Group number one was Imerahamwe, the youth of MRND, the ruling party. Group number two, Impuzamugambi, the youth of CDR, the party that was called CDR. The group number three, the youth of PSD, called Abakombozi. The party which was called PSD had a youth called Abakombozi. Group number four was the youth of MGR party. They were called Mbuga. Group number five, I think, there were a group of young people called JPL, the youth of a party that was called PL. Group number six was our technician, aka technician. These were highly trained commandos of the RPF, and they were disseminated among all the other groups cited before. 7 was young people, killers. They were killers who have never been identified. They could be either of all of these groups.
Yeah.
Yes. So this is the identity of the killers of the Tutsis during the genocide.
This is very important to see that all those groups, which means those are groups related to parties, to political parties. And
yes, I have to.
Yeah, exactly.
I have to preserve it when the infiltration of the technician of the RPF. This is the highly trained commandos of the RPF.
Yeah.
Was in many cases facilitated by the party leaders, the political party leader. In the case of PL, PSD, maybe MDR too, and even MDR, the ruling party. Yes.
The ruling party, the MRND.
Some leaders were aware that they were infiltrated and they were supportive.
For what reason? For what reason? Because you see somebody in the ruling party, normally, logically, he would be there just to support the political line of his party, and one would expect him to fight against aggressors. How come this person come to support his aggressors?
Yeah, here we are talking about what we have heard of and what we think and what we have actually known.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Now, you know, politics is a dirty game. Anyone from any group, any party, and organization can have his own ambitions beyond the party's ambitions. Some of MRND's leaders had promises. They were promised good things, good positions, and privileges when their own party would fall and the RPF would take power. And indeed, some of them have been rewarded when the RPF took power, others not. So these were individual leaders, not a political party's decision to support infiltration of their own oath by RPF commandos. No. Facilitation was done by isolated individuals. military or non-military.
Yeah. In my researches, because I have been also trying to understand what happened in Rwanda in genocide. One moment, in one evening, we didn't even know it actually when the presidential plane was shot down. We didn't get it the same night. You know, Chibuye, at our home, the information actually reached us a little later than the other areas. So it is in the next morning, the following morning, that we knew that the presidential plane was shot down. And on that day, nothing happened. We saw everybody moving, no problem at all. Hutu, Tutsi, living together side by side and drinking beer together. But at a certain moment, there are people, unknown people coming and saying, so and so, we are so and so. Yeah. And today, when we talk about technicians, one suspects that some technicians actually were there among those people, because every time we see, when you ask people from Changugu, from Butare, from every side in the country, they tell us some unknown people came here and either participated into killings, or they trained others in killings, or they triggered killings, something like that. And those people didn't last for long. They stayed there for just a short time. And after that, after time, when they saw that killings had just happened, they disappeared. Nobody know where they went. So from your knowledge, for your knowledge, you could associate these unknown people to technicians.
That's the knowledge, the common knowledge, not even my knowledge. Everyone knows now that infiltrators, technicians, in all parts of the country, south, east, west, north, central, they were there. The RPF technicians had managed to reach almost all parts of the country and commit crimes alongside the other criminals. Maybe we need to explain that for PSD, PAL, and MDF, the situation was even worse. Their leaders actually agreed with that RPF. Those are some information we had to facilitate infiltration of their own youth, so that they can help in destabilizing the government, the emirate government. I mean, it was perceived that emirate was ruling the country, had power, even when MDR had the prime minister, because the army somehow belonged to emirate. Somehow,
yeah. It is still very hard to swallow for a non-Rwandan that the RPF presented as a group, armed group actually, that whose aim was to liberate Tutsi. It's difficult to understand that this group, these people, are killing Tutsi as well. It is very, very hard to understand, because of the propaganda that was sold, maybe, that they come just to liberate Tutsi. What do you think of that?
This is where the RPF outsmarted everyone, even the international community. No one suspected their aim. The RPF's objective was to seize power, to take power by force, and absolute power, all the power, not shared, and preferably without the Tutsis and the Hutus who live in Rwanda. Preferably, if all Tutsis and Hutus were in Rwanda would be dead, killed, that would even be better for them. You couldn't understand how someone can kill young recruits coming to help him and pretends to go to be aiming to protect families left behind. That's not true. And what we see after 94, how would you liberate Tutsis and just immediately after taking power from 94 start exterminating the genocide survivors, the Tutsi? To date, they are being killed, exterminated. No one talks about it. The international community, close the eyes, just suppose, yeah, they are there, but they're exterminating the genocide survivor rather than protecting them. Leave alone the Hutus. The Hutus just have become just the food for the killing instrument of this regime, killing machine. Torture has become the rule in the country for all ethnic groups, especially those who live in Rwanda, Tutsis and Hutus. And this is a reality, a sad reality we have in front of our eyes. But the regime is a very powerful regime supported by the international community, supported by the world superpowers. Rwandans have no choice of having, no chance of having a normal life or of enjoying their rights, because no one is there to understand, to listen, or to hear their voices, their crying voices. Yeah, that's true.
Thank you very much, Dr. BAMARA. Our program is touching its end, and I thank you very much for having accepted our invitation. And no doubt we will get another time to discuss much more in depth with you, and we will discuss the epic you've written actually about this master liar and his school crashing whore. And every Rwandan listening to this can relate this to the situation in Rwanda. But as you said, well, the situation, the book can also be applied to any other country, isn't it?
Yes. I have to precise also that it's very sad and horrible to hear the role of the RPF during the killing of Tutsis during genocide and exterminating, killing the Tutsi survivors after the genocide. Even as they even killed the Hutus since the beginning of the war to date, just following them even into the Congo to hunt them down for killing, it's sad. But this doesn't exonerate, talking about the Tutsi, doesn't exonerate the Hutu criminals, actually extremists who killed.
That's true. That's true.
Another sad reality,
yeah,
which some politicians today, even members of the government, exploit to tend to criminalize a whole ethnic group. If Hutu criminals, extremists kill the Tutsi, doesn't mean that all Hutus actually did kill Tutsis. Many Hutus helped Tutsis.
Yes.
Hid them, they protected them, many of them. And it would be wrong to think that Tutsis was saved by RPF alone, while the international community was just watching and did nothing. This is wrong. If some Tutsis were indeed rescued by some RPF members, but many Tutsis were rescued by the French troops of Operation Turquoise.
Yes.
Thousands and thousands. And this is the international community. So the international community was not just watching.
That's true.
All those Tutsis saved by the French troops. That was the French troops were there.
Why is that this information is almost overshadowed? We don't see where they are talking about how French rescued people. But we know that there are thousands and thousands of Tutsis rescued by French troops, but it is never said anyway.
Indeed, they rescued even the Hutus. They rescued many Rwandans, but talking about the Tutsis, the French troops rescued many Tutsis. Without them would have been just erased and killed. This must be mentioned that Tutsis were rescued by many people, Hutus, some RPF, French troops, and some were just saved by chance, by God's protection.
Yeah. Anyway, it's a long story. We get another time to discuss more about this one, about these topics. And let me thank you for having been with us, and see you soon.
Les montagnes murmurent les noms qu'on n'oublie pas. Les enfants rêvent d'un monde où la peur n'existe pas. De Kigali à Kampala, de Bujumbura à Goma, de Dar es Salaam à Nairobi, nos voix se lèvent à l'unisson là-bas. On marche pour nos droits, on marche pour nos frères, pour nos sœurs qui se relèvent pour un avenir meilleur. Dans les larmes du passé, nos mémoires se relèvent. Génocide des Tutsis, génocide des Hutus, que nul jamais ne soulève. Les cicatrices sont profondes, mais nos cœurs disent encore qu'aucune vie ne soit brisée pour le pouvoir ou l'or. Nos terres ont trop souffert du pillage des ressources. Que justice soit lumière et que l'histoire change de course. Pas de haine dans nos mains, seulement la vérité. Pas d'armes dans nos cœurs, seulement la liberté. Nos voix sont nos flambeaux, nos rêves sont nos routes. Et le monde écoutera un jour sans aucun doute. Debout, debout, peuple des grands lacs. Que nos chants résonnent, que nos pas se redressent. Pour la justice, pour la paix, pour nos terres qu'on protège. Debout ensemble, unis dans la promesse. Debout, debout, peuple des grands lacs. Notre force est un fleuve, rien ne l'arrêtera. Rwanda, Congo, Burundi, Ouganda, Tanzanie, Kenya, un seul tract. Debout, unis, unis, debout. Et la paix triomphera.